What is going on, Soccer Card Fiends? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today I am going through who I think is overpriced and underpriced on the USMNT. Obviously this is going to be pretty controversial, very opinionated, so just because I say so obviously doesn't mean it's the case. By no means do I believe I'm all-knowing, just throwing my opinion out there, and I also got your guys' opinion over on Instagram through my story, so you can go ahead and get involved with those if you'd like to in the future. Link down below to that, also my Twitter down there too. I wanted to go through who I thought our top 11 was at the moment, plus a couple substitutes, and kind of see what everyone's thinking. Comparing rookies here, now you have to keep in mind that there are going to be different populations for each one. I'll kind of talk about that as we go. So we'll start with the first one, and that is Ricardo Pepe. His 2020 Bowman is worth $171 at the moment, and 80% of people said that that was overpriced. I personally would agree. I also will say I don't have any Ricardo Pepe. I have cards for everyone else in this list. Ricardo Pepe, though, one of the ones that kind of blew up, and he doesn't have a lot of pop. So that is why it's this expensive, so I understand it to that extent. I've seen a lot of other Bowman cards for other MLS players doing really good numbers, so I don't think that this is too crazy. But at the same time, whenever you put it in perspective with the larger market, I always think of everything as a Lionel Messi rookie, and Lionel Messi rookies in decent grade you can get for about $800, somewhere around there, plus or minus. So this is a quarter of a Lionel Messi rookie card, and for me that's just wild. For a base Bowman card, maybe if it was some sort of autograph, numbered something, then maybe you get me going there, but yeah, for a base, I just don't see it. Again, really low pop, so I do understand in that regard, but I can't bring myself to do it. So on to the next one, going through the forwards, we have Christian Pulisic, and here $107 for a select PSA 9. I actually thought that this was really underpriced, and so did a lot of the audience. I think that's really easy, especially with where PSA prices are at the moment for grading, and the fact that I'd imagine we make it to World Cup 2022, cross my fingers, and if that's the case, Pulisic's going to be the name on everyone's mind going into that, no matter how good all these other guys do, unless Ricardo Pepe truly blows up throughout World Cup qualifying, but I'd imagine it's going to be Pulisic. And if that's the case, a base card from a much earlier time, granted there's more Pulisic base than there is Ricardo Pepe, so also keep that in mind, but I think Pulisic has a higher ceiling, and he just has more of a fan base at this point, so I'd go with that every day of the week. Then next we have Georena, his Topps Chrome PSA 10, $340, 73% of people said overrated or overpriced, and I would tend to agree. I honestly love Georena, and I have a lot of different Georena cards. However, I do not have a Topps Chrome. I understand that they're relatively low pop compared to what you'll see a lot of other sort of ultra-modern stuff do, so I enjoy it in that sense. However, the card just doesn't do a lot for me, and I mean, in a PSA 9 at this point, you could probably get it for maybe 110, 120. I don't think that's terrible. My price point was always to hope to get it raw for like $40, and I've never been able to do it, so I've just stayed away. But I do think Georena has the highest ceiling of anyone on this team, so I believe in him. I just think you can find other things of his at better price points rather than going for a base Topps Chrome. Next, Weston McKennie, Optic PSA 10 for $53. I actually was really surprised to see this. If you followed Weston McKennie's Optic prices for a while, whenever he broke onto the scene at Juve, his Optic Raw was $20 to $30, which at the time meant that the PSA 10 would probably be, 80, somewhere around there. And so to see that at 53 now, I know Weston hasn't done great of late. He actually has had a couple goals in his last 2 games, but before that, him and Juve as a whole have been underperforming. Typically, I think Weston's overpriced. However, looking at this example, I think that's actually underpriced. Definitely could be a good spot to get in on him. Next, we have a Yunus Musa Mega Crack, so that is $10, and 90% of people said that that was underpriced. I personally agree. I think Yunus Musa is kind of underrated. However, I will say he does have a lot more cards than sort of your average USMNT player, so you have to take that into account. He's got Optic, Obsidian, Este, plenty of things beyond that, so you have to worry about it in that regard. I'm not sure how to feel about Mega Cracks for Yunus Musa, because really Mega Cracks is the best card for La Liga. However, Americans are probably going to maybe go towards Optic or something like that before this. Personally, I like it though, and it could be an iconic set with how many stars are in this year, but you never know. Next is Tyler Adams. We have a PSA 10 MLS rookie from 2018, and that went for $73. 53% of people said overpriced, and I don't want to agree. I actually thought that this would be one that I would catch people off guard with, but I will agree. I do think it's overpriced. However, this is a 50-50, as you can see. I personally just think that in the world of soccer card speculation and collecting even, people aren't as much into the defensive mids. I mean, it's just shown through time. Conte's stuff doesn't even do that well, and I mean, that's world class. So I don't really buy much Tyler Adams, I'll be honest. I have a few cards, but I keep it at that. But I do think he's underrated on our team. Like, in a team sense, I think he's amazing. In a card sense, I don't think he's as good. Then next we have an over and underpriced for Anthony Robinson's 2020-2021 Variation Prism. $12.50 for 9.5 SGC. 81% of people said underrated, and personally, I'm gonna disagree in theory. I guess as far as it being an SGC, that's probably why a lot of people said underrated, and I agree with that. However, I do think Anthony Robinson in general, I wouldn't buy. Again, a left back that I could see would be easily replaceable on our team in the near future, so I wouldn't get too much into him. In theory, if you wanted to buy an Anthony Robinson, sure, you could get a Prism card and SGC slab for less than 15 bucks, that's great, but I wouldn't buy any Anthony Robinson, so I guess for that reason I'd say it's overrated. Next we have Serginio Des. This is his 2020 Topps Champions League sticker. 8 of them total for 18 bucks. 81% of people said underrated. Personally, I'd err towards agreeing with this. I don't know how much Americans are really going to be in favor of stickers. However, in terms of being able to piece one off and sell another one, something along those lines, there are a lot of deals to be had out here like that. Personally, I've sold a sticker that had some decent damage on it, and I noted that in the listing I was able to sell it for close to $8. However, these are not rare at all. You'll see Holland ones flying around all over eBay. So realistically, if Des one day did become world class, it's not like these things are going to be hard to find. Then for John Brooks, we have a 2013 Topps Bundesliga sticker here for $1.16. 80% of people want underpriced on this. Personally, I agree. Whenever I was doing some research for this, I actually found 2 of them for like a little over $1 each, and I grabbed them both because I love John Brooks. The 2014 header will stick with me forever, so I have to go ahead and get those. Big agree though. I mean, those aren't anything that I would aim to flip though. So if you're in the flipping game, not it. So really, I'd say properly priced. I'm not sure if you get a ton of flip potential out of it. Maybe he heads in another goal one day, but I can't see them doing a ton. So then Chris Richards here, we have a Topps Now BGS 9.5 for 50 bucks. I'm personally just going to go with overpriced because I love that it's a BGS slab, a 9.5, but I mean, it's Topps Now. Like, they're all made pretty well in my eye, at least whenever I've gotten my shipments from Topps. And so I don't think it's all that rare. Now, I would say it's been lingering around 20 bucks for the longest time, so like this isn't a bad deal by any means. I just don't know what the hopes would be for a center back of the US. Like, I just showed John Brooks and his stuff is dirt cheap. I know Chris Richards is the future, but will his prices go up to 100, 200 bucks because of a good game? I'm not sure. Zach Steffen, we have his 2018 Topps Stadium Club for $8. I'm going to go with overpriced. I don't feel confident with Zach Steffen. Again, it's my same approach with center backs. They don't get much love in the hobby. I mean, if you look at legendary goalkeepers, they don't do a lot. Sure, maybe in the USMNT sense, there might be a spike for something he does in a certain game, and maybe there's some flip potential there, but I just don't think that it's worth spending $10 on that when there's tons of things that you can get that are way more meaningful. But again, by no means do I think that that's a bad deal. I always err towards the MLS items from these guys instead of their first appearance for whatever European team they're on. Tyler Adams has a lot of MLS stuff too, and that's definitely his rookie. His stuff at Leipzig is cool, but it is certainly not a rookie. Then for some bench players, we have a Tim Weah red press proof that I found sitting around, so I had to throw it up there. And yeah, that was $5 on bid. I mean, this is kind of a big point. You can find a lot of really good deals on bid, and there's a lot of gaps that you could then go and maybe sell for some USMNT guys. Like a Josh Sargent red press proof was going for probably 20, 25 bucks, and Tim Weah's are going for 5 on bid. So yeah, definitely underrated. Everyone seems to agree on that. And then I wanted to compare that to who I think's a little overrated on the USMNT bench, and that is Brendan Aronson. His Bowman, again, Bowman is a lot more low pop. So honestly, when you compare Ricardo Pepe to Brendan Aronson, I actually kind of like Ricardo Pepe prices. I think Brendan Aronson at 65 bucks here is overrated because I just don't see him in our midfield future, and I don't think he's good enough on the wing, so I don't really see where he can fit in. Our ideal midfield is Georena, Tyler Adams, and in my opinion, long-term Yunus Musa could be Weston McKennie, but where do you fit in Aronson? I don't think he has a spot in the midfield long-term. And then on the wing, Pulisic has the left wing locked down. I think Tim Way is better on the right wing, but that's just me, and there's a lot of other wingers that we have that are fighting for that spot as well. So there's just a lot of competition that I think will swallow up Aronson. You're already seeing crazy stuff about his brother, so I mean, the level is going to keep getting higher and higher for these guys, and you have to understand that on the long term. But that was a lot of fun. Mostly agreed with what the audience was thinking on a lot of these. I think we're on the same page here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. On top of that, let me know any players you think are overpriced or underpriced down below in a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.